Hello, greetings. This is Gilles Mancien. I wanted to come and say hello to do a little reading, tarot card reading, just as a support to see what kind of inspiration, guidance we may receive for today. I'm going to pull out 10 cards from the Archangel Tarot. For archangels are angels. They are higher angels. They are light beings of light. They come from they are third source personalities. They were local universe, higher personalities of our local universe. They are great beings of divine light. They are where we need, they already are what we seek to become, in many senses. And so the situation for us is none other than the Ace of Raphael. It is love. It is the Holy Grail. It is here. It says positive experiences on the emotional level. You will be fulfilled in a romantic relationship. Let yourself be guided by your intuition. So it is important. There is a great deal of science that leads in this direction of fulfillment, and so we need to be patient and rest and prepare ourselves for that which we have been asking for. The situation that comes around this, all the forces that are around this situation, is the Ten of Michael, and here the Ten of Michael is really the total ending of the old. It says it is over. You are finally free. Happiness is waiting for you. Leave the past behind you. So it is very important, because most of what we live in our life is all conditioned by the past. Everything we live in the past for the most part, for we don't know the future, but all the past keeps coming back. And so it is very, very important, if we seek ascension, to liberate ourselves as much as possible from the old programming, to move into a blank screen, to a blank canvas where we can recreate whatever we want. But the past will always come back to and so until it is integrated. So it is important to understand that it is a time to release and let go. What we see before us is the star. It is the Archangel Jophiel, and she said, the dream is becoming a reality. Believe in yourself. The end of a difficult situation. So we thank God for that. For if we are free, it is because God has decided that we have fulfilled whatever. We have fulfilled the past that we have set for ourselves, and then He frees us for that is where freedom comes from. It is from the ability to liberate ourselves from burden. It is not about doing something. It is about releasing what blocks us from being who we already are. What is in the depths of our subconscious in the past is the Seven of Gabriel. Gabriel being the Archangel of Ascension, and she said, defend your conviction. Be confident. Assert yourself in your position. So this is in the past. We have already we know what we have already done that, and so it is anchored. And now we are moving into the Fourth of Gabriel, and the Fourth of Gabriel here says, after the effort, the recomfort. You are harvesting the fruits of your labor. Get rid of all the situations that are burdening you. So it confirms what I was saying. It's all the burden are completely unnecessary, yet from the past we have a tendency to sometimes bring those things back into our presence, but the future has so much more to offer than the past, and so we have to let go of the past. And what is coming up in the near future is another ace. So it's the second ace that we're pulling today. It's the Ace of Gabriel. And the Ace of Gabriel, it is the card of success. It says passion, opportunity, and inspiration. An opportunity to do something marvelous is opening up itself to you. Émerveillez-vous. Rejoice. Of course, it is the first oracle of Delphi was a rejoice. You are entering into a sacred temple. Then it says know yourself, because it has to be more than just being marvel in relationship to all those great beings of light that they were worshipping at the time. So, because by knowing ourselves, we reconnect to that frequency. We'll eventually come to realize that all the stories of mythology are come from they are real. All those stories in all the mythologies are real beings that have the interaction with the human collective for before what is called the written history, but they're not gods. They are just advanced extraterrestrials that either came to the earth for their own selfish agenda, And others were just coming to because they wanted to assist humankind. They were led to do that, and so all those great beings, those great extraterrestrials, will eventually be known to humankind. But for now, it is. What we have in this situation, what we are in this situation, and the forces, the strengths that we have, these cards represent the strengths that we have. And so we have all the powers and the strengths of the world. Everything is called divine conduct. It's the Archangel Sandalphon. He says, look for a meaning to your life and envision a different approach. Turn toward friends or masters that have demonstrated great wisdom. For it is a time it is a great time of shifting, and so it is important to be ready, to prepare ourselves for whatever is coming to us. Although we do not know what is coming, we're preparing for the preparation so that we may be ready when the time comes for whatever the life will call us to do in the fulfillment of our life mission, our life purpose. And then our surrounding, our environment is quite romantic. Actually, there is great possibility for romance. It is the Two of Raphael. It says two hearts come together to create something marvelous. Soulmate, soul twin. Do not abandon those that you love. So it is important to stay close to love, to be able to share love, not in a codependent fashion, but in interdependent fashion. It is important to leave out the codependency, because codependency means I'm looking for somebody to fill the lack that I have within me, and I can fill the hole that that person has within themselves. But this doesn't. I mean, for a long time, those karmic relationships fulfill themselves like that. But now we have to become whole and to become interdependent so that we can complete each other in the purpose of our life. What's in our inner emotion, the hopes and fear, we have the Page of Raphael. And the Page of Raphael is a beautiful card. It's a gentle, loving, dreamer, sincere. The situation gives birth to new emotion, new relation or invitation to an event. Your intuition will tell you much. And the key and the outcome to that is the Eight of Gabriel. The Eight of Gabriel, she says, overflowing activity. The result will not be long to show themselves. To communicate is essential. So it is important to communicate. I myself, I feel like I'm gonna need to do something, because I feel like I'm like I'm a party of one. You know, I feel like I've been in exile here. And I had a strange dream, because as an artist, I can be pretty free as a spirit, but since I have all those paintings, I feel the responsibility somehow that I feel I have to do something to share this with the world. But the art world has not been welcoming up to this time, but there will be doors opening. I know it will come. But I had a dream, a very strange dream. Some dreams are very important, some are not. This one was not an important dream, but it was just funny. I was in this big hall, and there was a lot of painter, and I had some of my paintings there, and it was a competition, and the curator came to see me and say, well, we have a bunch of taxidermists, and all the prize are going to go to them, because nothing can compare to the stuffed animal. Right? A stuffed animal is the highest form of art that we have today. And so that was the end of the dream. So I just thought it was funny. It was probably a projection of my own sense of it's something very humoristic that we have to. Sometimes when things I feel like completely unfair, corrupted, you got to laugh about it. Laughing about it is very essential. There was a great master who teach the ability to laugh about all things. His name is Maitreya. So it was the master guide of Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha. And then there was also another philosopher called Democritus, who was laughing at everything, because he believed nothing had really meaning or sense, so you may as well laugh about everything. And in many sense, to be light and to not take things seriously is really a way to go through life in joy. I'm going to pull out a few cards about past lives. Past lives are something very, it's the Akash is, for those who believe that, for those who do not believe, those videos are probably not for you, but of course, we live in a physical body, but we have to dissociate ourselves from the physical body to reconnect, to believe ourselves to be in a light body. From there, we'll move into our spirit body. But the more we are able to disconnect from the physical form and connect our central personality to a higher aspect of ourselves, the faster the process will go, because as the more we make solid this reality, the more it becomes limitative. Yet the more we detach from the solidity of the world, the more we realize that nothing is really solid, everything is just electrons that are moving through space, and the electronic force can be controlled from within. So those things will come into the understanding. We do not have yet the instrumentation to really understand the spirit world. For our scientific is really materialistic, and so we do not have spiritual instrument. But soon we'll be able to open ourselves to all kinds of new possibilities of discoveries, both in science and about ourselves. For we are the. So I'm going to pull out four cards about. To see a little bit what the highest wisdom is. Wisdom. So the highest wisdom for us is wisdom. So wisdom is really what there is only one wisdom that applies in all situations. Of course, it is not something that can be determined or put into an equation or anything. It is just something that comes naturally as the highest potential for any situation to become. And so because I've been speaking about the law, the law, the universal law, the divine law, for nobody knows the law here on the earth, because if we knew the law, then the earth would be a paradise for all. For everything that is not aligned with divine order will reflect itself as a mirror that we call karma. Yet for those who want to approach the law, of course, the Bible, the Quran, the Tao Te Ching, the I Ching, and countless other great books of spirituality are expression of the law. They're trying to help man, assist man in understanding a higher way of living, to separate ourselves from the animal kingdom and move closer to the angelic kingdom. And so what we need to do is figure of authority. We have to assert our authority, not asserting it in a way that, in a way to force anything. Nothing can be obtained. Anything that's obtained by force or violence can never last. It is. I despise violence. It is something that's kind of low for me. It is a mediocre way of resolving problem, and it's never the solution. There is always a higher solution. Intelligent being will never use violence or enforce. Of course, there is situations that require a certain. They may require that we use a certain force to neutralize certain situation, but in many sense, violence. All those who are we got to understand as human beings from space, the extraterrestrial are looking at us with a love, great love. They are in love with humanity, but yet they see that most of the biggest expenses that we expending all our resource, more than half of our resource in the world, to prepare for war and for our own self-destruction, and rather than moving to put it into health and education and housing. And so all those expenses for war or preparation of war, all those who are furthering those agendas will have to face the consequences of their of this manipulation sooner or later, and it is better that human realize and adjust his behavior in relationship to the natural kingdoms, in relationship to so many things, because I don't want to. I'd rather say light, but in many sense we are. There is a complete abuse of the natural kingdoms, the animal kingdom, the tree kingdom, the mineral kingdom. For the trees are not things, animals are not things. They are living beings, divine living beings that are complementary to ourselves in the process of evolution here on this planet. And eventually we'll learn to respect all those kingdoms. We'll discover technology to feed ourselves, to build our homes. We won't have to cut the trees. We'll be able to let them live their life. And we'll get counsel from trees, for trees are higher beings once we are able to communicate with them. Of course, most of my ideas may be a little eccentric in relationship to contemporary beliefs, but if it, and I hope this resonates with you. But what I hope is that some of those information will help you increase your lucidity, your wisdom, your quality of life, and everything that does not resonate, just let it go, fall by the wayside. Just integrate whatever you need, whatever you can use. What we need to do is man, woman here. So man, woman means that in some of our past life we were different sex. So there is a certain ambiguity in relationship to integration of those lives that were not in the same gender. And so there is for instance, me, I had many past lives on this planet, which I cannot talk about because first you would think I'm crazy, and people would not believe me, and then it is a personal thing. Yet all those persona have contributed to the evolution of my soul and soul group. And so and I believe my last past life I had most of my past life were in a masculine gender, but I think my last life on this planet was a feminine gender. So I have to integrate some of that. But it all serves the evolution of soul in many sense. And the general message for us is health. So it is very important to take care of our health, to put that in the primary consideration for all of that is life can be given only through the fact that we are healthy. So it is very important to take care of our health, to be kind to our physical body, to if we need to readjust some of our diet, but to also be temperated in relationship to all those things that we are maybe used to, which are alcohol, tobacco, all those things we need to become master of those things. Those things were given to us as a stick to help us walk, but when we no longer need the stick, and so we have to let go of the stick to learn to walk by ourselves. And so it is a process. We have to deactivate all it's not just tobacco and alcohol. Television, internet, cell phones are extremely addictive, and we have to teach children not to be addicted, to use technology but not to become submissive to them. For that's what they want us to become. The big brother of George Orwell is the Facebooks and the Google are the big brothers of George Orwell. They see everything. They want to control everything. They want to dictate everything. They steal every information, and they fight among each other. So that creates all kinds of crazy things in my phone. There is a crazy thing that is going on. I'm not even gonna try to rationalize that because it is they're sending messages to people I don't know. My phone, I know it's a Google program that's doing all kinds of things, and it's sending messages to people without my permission, and it's like so those companies will have to be aligned. They're going to have to go back to the return of serving the humanity. For the internet originally was a military program that was stolen by humanity, and now we're using it for it is a wonderful tool for communication all around the world, and it is marvelous, but there is dark and light that is produced, and it will take quite a while before it can be purified, at which point the global network, the one language interactive network that will become eventually the sovereign integral network that will connect to all the planet and star system, all the connected networks, so to speak. And so there is a great deal of newness that will come into the picture. Things can happen really fast. We may be moving into a Star Trek generation a lot faster than we believe. And so be ready, prepare yourself, know what makes you feel right, what inspires you, what you really want in your life, and then ask the universe, ask God, and then be ready to receive it. Well, I hope this message was interesting for you. I'm going to briefly comment on this painting. It's called The Seven Families of Spirit Being. It's inspired by the Urantia Revelations, which is a marvelous book about the law, about who is God, and what is the function of all those many aspects. For there is only one God, but He has many forms, many aspects. In the Quran, whether it is Allah or Yahweh, it is two different personalities, but it is one God, one and the same God, and all the. It depends on your culture, on your approach. For somebody who's born in India in Hinduism, or if you reach Krishna, he just find God, and so it doesn't matter. Allah says in the Quran, no, it doesn't matter how you call God or what you think of God, or as long as you know that He's Almighty, all powerful, that He is your salvation and He is your source and your destiny. No matter how you call Him, that God does not have, in essence, God has beyond name. It's the great I Am. Here is represented as the great I Am, the Paradise Trinity. And there's the sons of God, the personalities of the infinite spirit, the Trinity's origin spirit, the supreme spirit, the paradise finaliter, the transcendental being. There is over 1,000 different orders, but there's only 4 of them that are revealed. The architects of the master universe, the primary eventuated force organizer, the secondary eventuated force associated, the associated force organizer, and the transcendental recorder. Those two force organizers are the creator of the galaxies. They're the ones who go into space and move into take the energy of transform the energy into galaxies and stars, and so they are magical beings. Here we have the pre-personal, the super-personal, the supreme, the ultimate, the absolute, some unrevealed orders. Here we have the power directors, the power centers, the energy controllers, the permanent citizens of the universe, the universe aids with the chief executive of our universe, Lord Salvington, Gabriel of Salvington, morning star, the archangels, the evening stars. Here we have the courtesy colonies. And so those paintings are really, really wonderful. I really love them. They're really they're the first. What's interesting is when it was in 1999, I was in America, and I had some. I presented those paintings in Burlington, Vermont, in an important exhibition. And the critic was an atheist, but it was a really wonderful artist and art critic. And he saw that those paintings were really the main influence in those paintings. He saw that Matisse was the most influence in those paintings because of all the settled relationship between all those colors. And as soon as I moved to France, my palette completely changed, so it is kind of interesting, and I enjoyed to be able to see all those contrasts. I hope this message was interesting for you. I thank you for everything. If you have any comment or question, or if you like me to address anything, feel free to leave a comment. I wanted to thank you for sharing, for liking, and for following this video, subscribing. If you like those messages, I will. I do feel there's a great deal of change and newness that will come into the picture, and so I will hopefully be able to soon. Make different kinds of video. Yet for now, the time for those time, I think it is good to continue in my communication in relationship to the soul and the spirit, that we need the soul and spirit frequency connection, and so that we can work day after day to reconnect to this divine light that is already part of who we truly are, and it is really what we seek to do. As a conclusion, I just wanted to note that it is important to realize that matter does not really exist. It's just electrons that are moving through space, and they form atoms, and then they form molecules, and everything is moving molecules. It's just space. But as we believe the world is solid, then we become solidly enclosed within this reality. As soon as we believe that we are light beings, that we have a light body, then everything becomes much more flexible. For our light body is not who we are. We are spirit that's way above that, but it is the only way to reach that true self, that higher spirit beings, is through the opening of the light body. And so it is important to breathe, to connect, to envision light coming into you and love coming out of you, and to do spiritual exercise as much as possible, whatever is comfortable, and for you to practice it day after day, to make it a routine, whatever is comfortable, follow whatever doctrines, whatever, but always know that you can always release everything and put everything in the hands of God, realign into the heart, and then from there we're always led into the right and proper place. Well, thank you very much, and I wish you a good day. Namaste.